Hello everyone, welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. You're looking at a close-up of my Fluval F-Series 15-gallon cube aquarium. I've had this tank set up for several years now. I did a cleaning on it yesterday and I just wanted to focus on all the various inhabitants in this tank. You know, over the years I've used this tank to put in random fish that I either could not catch at one point in time or sold a group and then found one straggler. So there's a lot of individuals in here, like this dwarf rainbow fish here, beautiful little fish, and there's a daisy-eyed rice fish. Both of those are solos. They made friends. They have no other fish from their species are in this tank, but they're doing really well. They're about as big and fat and happy as those particular fish get. I have a bunch of male endlers that I raised up and were in other tanks, and I just would catch one or two periodically and add them into this tank. The oldest denizens are the tetras. This used to be my all tetra tank. There's a couple albino tetras. They're getting on in the years, so they're losing some of their vigor, but they're happy and content. There's a neon tetra. I have some brass tetras in here as well. I have all sorts of Corydora fish. I wish there was some in front. There's a there's a pygmy hasbrosa right there. I have some panda Corydora in here, both the long fin and the short fin, and I have some straight up pygmy Corydoras, not the hasbrosas, the even smaller kind. They're all in here. I even think I might have had some breeding over the years, because I found some fish that weren't purchased that were in the Corydora family, and I couldn't quite remember buying them, so I think I hatched them, which is nifty. There's some Ember Tetras in here. There's one you can see back there. He has a few more buddies as well, and then a couple fish that I'm just dying for them to come out. I have some gimonstrous Siamese algae eaters. I bought them when they were an inch long. I swear they are 4+ inches, and they're in here. I could never catch them without disrupting this tank, but there's 3, and when the lights go out they will become very active. I originally got them to deal with blackbeard algae, of which you see a little bit back there, and they did a good job. As they get older they do less of a good job, and now they're basically just pigs and eat all the fish food I put in here fairly promptly. I'm going to twist around, show you a big Nerite snail right there. Nerites are what leave these white eggs everywhere, and some people look at them as a eyesore, and I suppose there's no way around it. They're a little bit like pigeon shit. There's some there. But those eggs, as most of you know, will never come to fruition in a freshwater tank. They need brackish salt water for the actual snails, the larvae, to hatch, but they do not need salt water for the snails to lay the eggs. I'm focusing on this one beautiful White Cloud Mountain, the albino strain. You notice its deep red-orange color. That is not how they usually are when you buy them, but I had a whole bunch in my tub during the spring and summer, and I sold every one of them, but I missed that guy, and so I just put him in here like those other solos, those other bachelors. I do want to highlight how much more beautiful that particular fish is because it was kept outdoors for 6 months feeding on Daphnia and whatever the hell else was in that tank, mosquito larvae, etc. It really is a much more beautiful color because of that. So that was exciting, and I'm going to do that again for sure. Excuse that movement. I'm going to pull out. What a beautiful tank. It's sort of just a Java fern orgy at this point, Java fern being all that. And I actually pulled some out, so this is after the haircut. And then what's really neat is there's these crypt parva, these smaller plants, and they're sort of growing in a ground cover like way. I thought they might get higher up. There's a crypt that's not a parva that's intermingled there behind the dragonstone. You see also a lot of dead snails, or I should say snail shells, empty snail shells. That's because this tank has a ton of assassin snails, and assassin snails are a nifty little snail for dealing with a snail infestation of ram's horn or pond snails. The only problem is you will get all these empty shells, and like the Nerite snail eggs, one might consider that to be an eyesore. So when I do a water change, there's a few more cories, by the way. There's an assassin snail, there's two of them. They're very beautiful, but they devour snails, and I'm no longer putting snails in here, so that population will go down. But they live under the gravel primarily and come out when they're hungry, and that's what those two are doing if they're not preparing to reproduce. That one's tootling along very quickly. I don't think he's going to find very many more ram's horn or pond snails because I haven't added any in a while. In this tank are also some giant amano shrimp, perhaps a few cherry shrimp, and back there you see a tetra, a kind of an exotic, not the common black tetra. I forget what that one's called. I didn't realize it was going to get as big as it did when I bought them. I got a number of these fish from Aquatic Arts, but over the years I've also just collected them any and everywhere. This is a community tank in every sense of the word. This is a planted tank in every sense of the word, and I really, really love it. I hope you do too. All right, everybody, ciao for now.